Hello and welcome to this session. We are going to look at IELTS Writing Task 2. Now, IELTS Writing Task 2 is a task that requires you to write an essay, and there are different types of essays in IELTS Writing Task 2. Whether you are doing IELTS Academic or you are doing the general module, you have to write an essay. It's the same. And there are different types of essays, and one type of essay is what is called to what extent essay. So the to what extent essay is a type of essay that will generally ask you to what extent do you agree. And that is what we want to look at today. We want to look at how you can be able to write to what extent essay well. We will be looking at the structure of this essay, the approaches you can use to write this essay, and lastly we are going to look at an example so that you can grasp the content that you need. Now, remember, this session has been brought to you courtesy of Passcode Global Consultants, and we do teach IELTS, whether you want to learn the general module or the academic module. Now, to what extent do you agree? When you see such kind of a question, what comes to your mind? Now, in us understanding how to write this essay, we need to interpret this statement. So we need to do an interpretation, and we need to understand what it means. So we ask ourselves, what does it mean? We also need to interpret to what extent, and we also need to know that you can agree or we can disagree. So when we talk about to what extent, it means to what level or to what degree. In other words, it's like we have two extremes. Say, for example, we have an extreme to the left and an extreme to the right. And let's say that those who are to the right, they are agreeing strongly. So if you agree strongly, because the question asks you to what extent do you agree, so you can decide to agree strongly. So let's imagine that if you agree strongly, you lean towards the far right. If you disagree strongly, that means you agree to a very low extent, you lean to the far left. So when we will be talking about the approaches, we will be seeing that you can write this essay as a person who agrees strongly, so you will be leaning to the far right. You can write this essay as a person who disagrees strongly, and therefore you will be leaning to the far left. And you can also write this essay as a person who is leaning both to the left and to the right. This is a person who has not taken a strong stand, and this person will be agreeing and disagreeing at the same time. So I'm going to give a question, sample question, which you are going to be answering as we do this essay so that we can understand it better. And the question says, GMO foods offer the best bet to solve world food problems. To what extent do you agree? Now remember, this is how the question will be framed all the time. You will have a frame of the question, and you will have a question posed to you, and this question will be, to what extent do you agree? So like now, the GMO foods, this is the frame of the question, the stem of the question that has been posed to you. Then the question, to what extent do you agree, will always accompany that question in this type of essay. So let's go ahead and look at the approaches that you can take. Now, two main approaches to the question. You can choose a one-sided approach whereby you agree completely or you disagree completely. So these two parts, we have A and B. A carries two approaches within it, because you can agree or you can disagree. And I'm going to expound this here. Now you can also have a two-sided essay whereby you disagree. Remember, A gives us two approaches whereby in one you can agree strongly, that is when you do agree, or it can give us the disagreeing side whereby you disagree, and B gives us one approach, which is an agree-disagree essay, and this is a person whom we have said he or she is not leaning to the left, is not leaning to the right, is just somewhere in the middle. He has occupied a middle ground. So this person will agree-disagree. And when we come to the general format of an IELTS essay, remember it will have an introduction, body paragraphs, and a conclusion. And quite a number of IELTS essays will have 2 body paragraphs. So these approaches just summarize like what will be in the essay paragraphs. Like here, if someone decides to agree, they will have 2 body paragraphs, each for the agreeing side. If someone decides to disagree, they will have 2 body paragraphs, each for disagreeing, supporting the disagreeing side. Now, the person who stays in the middle will do an agree-disagree essay, and one of their body paragraphs will be agreeing, while the other body paragraph will be disagreeing. In other words, the person who stands in the middle will have converted that essay into a both views essay, because they are going to show both sides. So let us look at this example. In A1, whereby you are doing agree, that is a one-sided essay, you can have these points. Drought resistant, that is the question on GMO. Let me go back to the question and show you. Okay, the question was saying that GMO foods offer the best solution to world food problems. So why would they offer the best solution? So the points you have is that they are drought resistant. You do a paragraph for that. They grow faster or produce more. You do a paragraph for that. So you will have 2 paragraphs for agree. If you choose A1, agree. If you choose A2, disagree, you will say that they are not the best because body paragraph 1, they cause allergic reactions. Body paragraph 2, they cause cancer. Now, the person who stays in the middle will have a point to agree. They will say that they are drought resistant, and they have a point to disagree, whereby they talk about cancer. All right. So let's look at a sample plan. Now, in this case, as we are giving this example, we have chosen to do agree. So we will have 2 body paragraphs, each for the agreeing side. So in paragraph 1, you will have an introduction. In paragraph 2, agreeing with the first point, that is that these GMOs are drought resistant and they can have a longer shelf life. These are 2 points for agreeing. Second point, with 2 items also, grow faster and produce more. Remember, you can also have just 1 point and expound it. And then the last paragraph, which is a conclusion, it will have a stand and it will have a restatement of what has been discussed and a recommendation. Now, a sample thesis statement for agree. You say something like this: I strongly believe that GMO foods will offer the best solution to worldwide hunger problems because they are drought resistant and grow faster. So when you look at this comprehensive thesis statement, you can see that it carries with itself the side that I have taken. It is also talking about to what extent, because I am saying I strongly believe. That means I agree strongly. And I have mentioned my 2 main points here, because those are the ones that I will be discussing in the body of the essay. So that's why I have mentioned them. So if maybe I have to give an A2 sample plan, that is disagree plus disagree, you still will have an introduction, you will have a conclusion. These ones do not change. What changes is maybe the thesis statement and a few words, but you will always have an introduction and a conclusion. Now, the first body paragraph, of course, I disagree, and the second body paragraph, I disagree. And these are points for disagreeing. These are also points for disagreeing. So, 4-paragraph structure, both body paragraphs will be disagreeing. That is in the A2 approach. Sample thesis statement is there. GMO foods are not anywhere near offering a solution to worldwide hunger problems because they are associated with many allergic reactions and cancers. So Again, the thesis statement is very clear. They are not anywhere near. That means this person is strongly disagreeing with the post statement, because he says GMO foods are not anywhere near. And he also goes ahead to give 2 points to prove his point, or to support what the side that he has taken. Now, for agree disagree also, we have a sample plan. You will have an introduction, you will have a conclusion, and then for body paragraphs, we will have the first body paragraph, we will have agreeing points, and for the second body paragraph, we will have disagreeing points. So as you can see, whatever approach you take, we are having the 4 paragraph structure. Remember, this is not an opinion essay where you may need to introduce an independent paragraph for your opinion. So for the agree disagree essay, you will also have these are a sample thesis statement, and you can see the way it is stated so that it can cover the 2 sides. It says, even though GMO foods are associated with some negative effects, they stand to offer a viable solution to hunger because they grow faster and are drought resistant. So this one is a middle ground person who says, even though this and this is like this, then that and that would be like that. So it is important to consider so that when you are writing your thesis statement, you can be very clear on what side you have taken. That if you have taken agree side, your thesis statement should be very clear on that. Remember, the thesis statement is the last statement in the introduction, and it is the one that shows the side that you have taken. It is the one that guides your body paragraphs. So your thesis statement should be very clear on what route or which approach your essay is to take. So I just want to show you a sample of this kind of essay that we are talking about. So this is IELTS Writing Task 2, to what extent essay, and this sample will do the one-sided approach of agree. This is a person who has strongly agreed, and this is the sample outline. The sample outline obviously has an introduction, and the introduction has 3 parts. The first part is the background statement. The second sentence usually is you rephrase the topic that is given. And the third paragraph, the third sentence and the last one in the introduction gives a thesis statement. So suppose I can explain this a little bit. Background statement is a statement that introduces the general topic area. So like here we are talking about world food problems. Our background statement will read like this. The world population has been ballooning, raising a serious problem of insufficient food. So this background statement has already introduced the problem that we are experiencing in the world, and that's the problem of food shortages because of ballooning population. Now, in the second sentence, I rephrase the topic so that I can move from general to specific. As such, it has been argued that GMO foods can provide a viable solution to the global problem of food shortages. Remember, some people like starting IELTS essays from this point. They just do this sentence and then they do a thesis statement. But for me, I like first of all starting my essays with a general statement to introduce the general topic area. Then I move to specific by rephrasing the topic that is given. And then I do my thesis statement, which shows the approach that my essay is going to take and what I'm going to do in my essay. So thesis statement here says, I agree strongly that GMO foods can provide an excellent solution to world food problems because they grow, they are drought resistant and grow very fast. So this should be, they are drought resistant and grow very fast. So in body paragraph 1, I'll make an argument that GMO foods are drought resistant and have a longer shelf life. And I will add examples because the question always tells us to give examples. And in body paragraph 2, I will talk about GMO foods growing fast and having greater quantities in their produce. And I will also add examples. Then I will do a conclusion. And this is just a statement of my conclusion. I'm going to read it in the main essay. But when you are doing an outline, it's important you just write the introduction and conclusion so that you can know the number of words that you have left to do your body paragraphs. And also so that you can limit or truncate the number of words so that you don't use so many words for your introduction and conclusion, and you lack the words to use in the body paragraphs because they are going to carry the heaviness of the essay. So this is a sample essay. We are going to look at it. When you look at the arrangement of that essay, you can see that it has a 4-paragraph structure. All right? 4-paragraph structure in that it has an introduction there. It has the first body paragraph. It has the second body paragraph. It has the conclusion. So that's a 4-paragraph structure, and you can see that there is indentation. The sentences are not starting at the edge. There is indentation. This is usually 0.5 inches. So let's read the introduction. The world population has been ballooning, raising a serious problem of insufficient food. As such, it has been argued that GMO foods can provide a viable solution to the global problem of food shortages. I agree strongly that GMO foods can provide an excellent solution to world food problems because they are drought resistant and grow very fast. Now let's go to the first body paragraph. Some of the reasons why GMO foods are favorable is because they are drought resistant and have a longer shelf life. Firstly, now I am outlining my reasons. A significant majority of organic foods cannot withstand harsh climatic conditions. Hence, people who live in drought-prone areas cannot produce enough foods. However, GMO foods have been modified to resist harsh conditions and can be used effectively to feed such vulnerable populations. Secondly, that's my other point. GMO foods stay for longer periods in the shelf. In places where weather conditions are harsh, organic foods will go bad easily, while GMO foods will withstand, hence can be preserved for later use. Therefore, that's a summarizing sentence. Therefore, droughty areas and harsh weather environments can benefit from GMO foods. A very nice summarizing sentence. Now, let's look at the second body paragraph. You can see I have used the word additionally. That is to form my second body paragraph's topic sentence. Additionally, GMO foods grow very fast and produce more in quantities. For instance, that's another way of saying, for example, organic corn can take as much as 6 months to harvest, while GMO foods can take just 2 months. This means that while you can have only 2 harvests per year for organic foods, you will have more than 5 harvests for GMO foods. Moreover, that's an addition again, with the same conditions of planting and caring, GMO foods will produce more in quantities per acre. Therefore, GMO foods would be the best to solve global food crisis. In conclusion, GMO foods have so many favorable traits that they should be considered to feed the global population. Considering the high rate at which the global population is rising, there is no doubt that a viable solution to food is needed. I strongly posit that GMO foods will be the best bet to this solution, owing to their many advantages of faster growth, and huge quantities. And I have stated the number of words there, which is 320. So that is how an IELTS essay should be. On to what extent? Remember, that is just one approach of agree. We can also do it in the approach of disagree, or also agree, disagree, if we want. So what is important is how you disguise your language you can have any approach and you get all the marks. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. If you have questions, you can leave them on the comment box. And please remember that this presentation is brought to you courtesy of Passcode Global Consultants. We do teach IELTS, both academic and general module. If you need any assistance, do not hesitate to contact us for assistance. Until we meet in the next video, have yourself a nice time. Thank you.